Hi guys, so I wanted to go over very quickly how to tap out your 2017 ICD-10-CM Expert for Physicians Manual. So a couple of things, you can do this however you want to do it. You can use the little tiny paper post-it note flags, the little tiny tabs if you want to. These aren't even tabs actually, they're just little miniature post-it notes. I don't like to use these because they are so flimsy, they bend really easy, and they get torn. So what I like to use to flag out my manual, hang on, let me find them. Oh, these. I use these, and these are the actual post-it note filing tabs. And I have a bunch of these. You can tell I have a little bit of an issue with collecting these post-it note flags. But I buy these in a bunch of different things. A lot of times I can catch them on clearance at the end of the back to school rush. And so I will buy a bunch of them because I use them so often to tab out coding manuals every year. And then also I use them for filing cabinet purposes and all kinds of other things. So I have quite an assortment of them, but I tend to use the same ones year after year, and it is always these post-it note filing tabs, the 1-inch tabs, and you can get them in whatever colors you'd like. And then along the tops of my manuals for my tables, my drugs and chemical table and the neoplasm table, in the E&M code section, I use the 1.5-inch tabs, or the 2-inchers, and that's what these are. But you can see that these are a little bit thicker than the papers. They are more plasticky, and so they will hold up a little bit better for you in the long run if you are using your manual a whole lot. Okay, so that's what I use, and then the label maker, I print out my little labels for each section that I'm going to show you in the manual. You can print them on like Avery style labels if you would like. You can handwrite them on the tabs if you would like. You can do this however you want to. You can put as much money into it if you want to. I'll be honest, doing it this way gets a little costly. It's like 20 bucks in tabs, maybe 15 bucks in tabs to tap out each manual. I bought this label maker for 10 bucks on Black Friday like 5 years ago. It was the best 10 bucks I've ever spent. So if you have a label maker, you can use that. If you have a computer and printer and you want to do it that way, you can do that. However you want to do it is basically what I'm telling you. Okay, so your manual for 2017 is nice. I like Optum's new style. I tend to stick to the Optum coding manuals because they are color coded in the pages, and I really like the color coding. And the 2017 manual this year is spiral bound, which is really nice because the manuals in the previous years were not spiral bound. So the spiral bound in the 2017 manual makes it infinitely easier to work through your coding manual. So basically when you go to tab out your manual, what you want to do, I don't know if you can kind of see here, on the top I have the neoplasm section for the neoplasm table, drugs and chemicals, and then the V codes section out at the top. So I know that I can find those, flip to those sections easily. So neoplasms, drugs and chemicals, and then V codes. And then in those, I do not, in my manual, you are welcome to if you would really want to spend all that extra time and expense of tabbing out your index. I don't tab out my index. I do not tab out my conventions either. I know that those are at the beginning of the manual. I know where to find my conventions and my guidelines, and so I don't bother tabbing out my conventions and guidelines or my index section. I know that all of the light gray pages up at the front are going to be the index section, and so I don't bother with tabbing those out. You are welcome to if you would like to. I start at the neoplasm table, then go back to drugs and chemicals, and then go back and tab my V codes, which is your external causes to injury index. And then I start with the tabular list. And so basically what I do is I look here, and that's the codes that I will print for each section on my tab. And so, let me move this down so you can kind of see here. You can see here that the code range is A00 to B99, and that's what this tab says. A00, oop, there's a glare there. A00 to B99. The next section, C00 to D49, and we have C00 to D49. And so that's what I do. I go through, I make all of the labels first, and then affix them to all of the tabs as I label each one. And what I like to do, just to make it, I have found over the years, to make it easier to find my tabs, because you end up with so many tabs on there. Let me show you. I stagger them a little bit on the edge, so I don't know if you can kind of see, but I have this row going down, and then when I start a new row, I will put it kind of between those two, and then stagger all of those, and then when I start the third row, I put it between that one, and kind of stagger those back there. So that way it's easy. When I flip it on edge, I can still kind of see all of my tabular section labels. Okay? So that's it. I mean, in a nutshell, there's notes sections back there. I don't tab out the illustration sections either. In addition to not tabbing out the index or the coding guidelines and conventions. You're welcome to tab that out if you want to back there. I don't mess with it, but you know, I've been tabbing these coding manuals out forever. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.